Welcome back to Realm of Rolls. Before we begin, if you're listening on Spotify, tap follow now. It's the easiest way to make sure you never miss an episode of the campaign. To support the podcast further, you can join us on Patreon for behind the scenes content, or head to our Discord to chat with us, share your theories, and keep up with campaign news. You'll find all the links in the episode description. With that said, a new chapter begins. Welcome to Duskbound, Arc 2. This is Episode 1, The Empire of Light. Time passes quickly between the first call of land ho and the resolution of the grey-blue smudge on the horizon into recognisable landmass. Ahead of you lies Vathora, the capital of the Corvathian Empire and this archipelago, the gleaming crown jewel amidst verdant emerald jungles, aquamarine seas, and pearlescent sand beaches. None of you, barring Silas, have stepped foot upon her shores, but nearly all of you have heard of her splendour. A floating palace of white marble at her centre, surrounded by 3 great islands, the biggest in the archipelago, that conceal and protect the head of the dynasty and his heirs. From the outside, the sea-facing coastlines are sparsely populated, vast swathes of land dedicated to arable pursuits and pastoral farming, with smaller towns centred around vinification or fishing. The Wildflower's heading takes her to a fairly narrow strait between 2 of these landmasses, tall, towering cliffs shading the ship as the land begins to slope downwards along your route. The view opens up in front of you like a revelation. The palace, the spire, stands tall and proud, bright white marble bathed in the tropical sun, gleaming ostentatiously. Even from here you can see the great wide open walkways shaded with pure white and turquoise silks that dance in a gentle breeze. Large arching windows and great balconies afford the rulers of this region expansive views over the beating heart of the archipelago. The sight is breathtaking, dazzlingly bright and impossible to ignore. The Wildflower doesn't slow in her progression. Naval checkpoints pass without a second glance, pristinely dressed soldiers and guards waving the ship through without delay, and halting the ferries that seem to regularly pass between the landmasses transporting people and goods. As the view opens up further, you can now see the 3 islands and the cities they host upon their inner shores in their full glory. To your left, Caer Nol, the White Isle, its buildings made of white stone and steeped in ceremony and tradition. Temples, vast estates and ceremonial-looking buildings dominating its sprawl. To your right, Dren Marrow, the Iron Tide, industrial, noisy, heavily steeped in military discipline and industrial endeavour. And ahead of you, Vel Tembar, the Gold Harbour, the mercantile and social heart of Vathora. Loud, humid, crowded and cosmopolitan, the air laden with the shouts of sailors, cries of traders and soft babble of a city alive with people. It's Vel Tembar that the Wildflower approaches, carefully skirting an unseen perimeter around the spire. The ship, impressive and grandiose, although a little battered, makes its way towards one of the many piers that line the shore of Vel Tembar like the keys of a great musical instrument. At this point, would anyone like any questions answered or any bits asked?
I have just one.
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
Yep,
Karen.
No, you go first, Rick.
Would you like us to recall these names, or are you going to put up a reminder of these names? So I think they would be useful for us to reference as important points as we continue.
I can. It's probably going to be quicker if you write them down now. To be honest.
So is it her Nol?
Hang on, just let's everyone get a bit of paper or something first.
Okay, cool.
I did have my notebook ready.
Fully prepared, look.
I was, but
Stand up,
wandered
Gus, and
off.
turn around. It might be stuck to your back.
It's wandered off.
I wasn't going to go there, but
Doesn't mean that the pad wouldn't.
Gus has left the building.
So Vathora is the name of the overall capital, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Vathora is the name of the capital.
Yeah.
you have the Spire, which is the palace in the centre. And for Ayaan-Jin and for Torran, as well as Silas, you would all... I mean, Silas would know these places. Ayaan-Jin and Torran, you would be aware of them. They are obviously talked about significantly. They are the capital. And obviously for Crest, you wouldn't. You then have... but where are we? Caernol, so Caernol.
One word or two?
2 words, Caernol. Which is, from glance, is a more ceremonial, traditional, official looking city. I'll get onto that in a minute.
Can I just check? Knoll, is that K-N-O-L-L?
No, just N-O-L. Knoll.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Caernol.
Okay.
So kind of where the bureaucracy and nobility kind of reside mostly.
Yes. Well, not mostly. I will get onto that in a second. Okay. But it is very much looks more
posh,
more ceremonial, more administrative. You would say. Very much kind of that. It's more of a. You can all see from.
It's the political centre.
A bit, yeah. There's a lot of temples here. This almost seems like a more religious area, more administrative. You imagine kind of banking, anything like that is going to be in this kind of area, a bit more stately looking.
Where the bean counters and the priests live, really, is it?
Yeah, basically. Well, yeah, basically. Then you have to your right Dren Marrow, and that is D-R-E-N, and then marrow is in bone marrow.
Oh, got that one right.
And that is your industrial area. A lot of noise, a lot of banging, clanking, forging, heavy military presence in that area, visibly so. And then finally, you have Veltembar. V-E-L-T-E-M as in Temu, and then bar as in place you go to get a drink.
Oh, I spelled that right as well.
And Veltembar is probably the most colourful of these 4 areas.
And that's like the seat of power?
No. The seat
spire
of
in
power
the
is
centre?
very, very obviously the spire in the centre.
Okay, the spire. Gotcha.
Yeah, this is downtown.
So, I'll give you just a broad kind of painted strokes overview of this area, as if you were looking at it from a bird's eye view on a map. You have in the dead centre, the bullseye, you have this large palatial structure. It has spires, it has turrets, it has towers. It is very much your classical, very angular, very tall, very almost obelisk-like building. Made of pure white stone, so that when the sun hits it, it refracts beautifully, and it is the single most brilliant shining thing in your field of view. And it can be seen from anywhere on the inside of these 3 islands. And it's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous building. You can see beautiful stonework, silk coverings, so perhaps between 2 towers there's a large open walkway, and it is shrouded with turquoise and white silk which blows beautifully. It is crafted to be regal and ostentatious. Then as you go out, there is water around this palace. There is clear water, 2-3 miles of water before the shoreline. Then what you have is these 3 islands. They are big. They're irregularly shaped. They're not like even shaped. They are natural islands, and they are arranged almost perfectly, kind of dividing the radius basically into thirds. And between each of them is a small narrow strait. probably about a mile wide at its widest, which if you looked you would be able to see that ships pass through these straits like the Wildflower did, heading into the centre, heading out, and also ferries cut across the straits. So where the cities lie at the shoreline and the coast, ferries frequently pass between the islands, clearly transporting people, goods, wares between the two. It's that kind of transport between the islands. And that's... So the cities themselves, you could classify them as cities in their own right. This is one city. This is Vithora as a capital is one capital. It is treated as one city. But if you break it apart, there are actually 3 entire cities that make up the capital itself. It's basically a fractured maritime capital.
Is there one, for example, that it's more northern or more eastern or southern than the others, just so we have an idea of where they are relative to each other?
So I would say if you were to look on a map,
Yep.
you travelled north from the island, which didn't exist on a map. The northernmost is Veltembar.
Okay.
So you have entered from essentially the southern point of this capital. You have Caer Nol on the left, you have Dren Marrow on the right, and then Veltembar at the top.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Is it only those, or are there also other small islands around?
There aren't any small islands about.
Okay, cool.
It is simply these 3 islands, and if you look at the spire itself, it doesn't appear to be seated on anything. It doesn't appear to be seated on land. It's in the water, but it doesn't appear to be, like, there's no specific landmass in the centre. It appears it has been built in the centre, rather than because this was a naturally forming place where it made sense to put it.
Yeah. I suppose the other questions I have is that obviously we've got this local area. This being an ocean-going nation, obviously I know that there's islands every which way, but where are the closest other settlements? Which directions?
The closest other settlements, you've asked me a question, I don't have the map up. The closest other settlements will be to the west.
Okay, cool.
And they would still be a good maybe week's travel away.
Okay, so this is quite an isolated spot.
Yeah.
I have a question.
It is the biggest. Sorry, I'll come to you in a second. But they are the biggest islands in the entire archipelago. So Crest wouldn't know that, but look at a map scale. These islands are, 30, 40, 50 times bigger than some of the smallest islands. They are big.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's all my questions for the moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike.
Are we allowed a copy of this map? A player copy of this?
You will have one, yes, when I've got the map up.
We will have one when the DM has finished preparing it, is what you're saying.
Yes,
Beautiful.
That is
All
what
right.
I'm saying. I've had to effectively prepare 3 cities for this, Michael. It has been a bit of an endeavour. And when I say cities, I mean it's full-on cities. Some Veltembar. If I can find where my note is, because I've got 3 million notes on this now. Where are you? The urbanised area of Veltembar, for example, is about 4 miles across.
Oh, okay. So these aren't small islands either. These are big islands.
No. To give you some reference, you would probably say that about 500,000 people in total in the capital, and each island is going to take anywhere between about 140 to 180,000. They big.
They big.
Sorry, what were those population counts again, roughly?
So I'll give you them exactly. So Veltembar is about 180,000.
Yeah.
Caer Nol 140,000.
Yeah.
And Dren Marrow 160.
Wow.
Obviously, this is a little bit meta. You wouldn't know this bit, but you'd say for a palace of that size, about 20,000 people, possibly kind of in the centre doing work. You wouldn't have a direct eye on that figure, though.
Yeah, but it gives us a realistic idea from our point of view what to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
This is a massive. And when I said Veltembar had piers like teeth, I mean the entire front is littered with piers. From one city wall to the other, there are piers jutting into the ocean, and almost every single one of them has a ship at it.
Thank you.
And based on the couple of weeks travel, a week or 2 weeks travel to the nearest, obviously smaller islands or cluster of islands, I'm assuming that this means the archipelago must be absolutely vast, spreading over like thousands of miles or hundreds of miles. Or...
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of islands in this archipelago. It is massive. And one thing that you would know, Ayaan-Jin, as well as Torran and Silas, is that actually in the archipelago, Vithora is it is not central to the archipelago itself. Vithora itself is in basically the uppermost right of the archipelago. So there's nothing really north of it, there's nothing really east of it. It is the closest to the rest of the continents on Eridan. But the other islands under its control are, southwest, massive long way away.
Right. Okay. And at this point, am I allowed to... As Ayaan-Jin comes from some islands situated on the very outer of the archipelago, can I ask what the relationship is between the islands that Ayaan comes from and where Vithora is situated?
Yeah, absolutely. So the relationship...
I mean, the others don't know where I've come from, obviously, so this is just a question for me.
The relationship is remote, but then most relationships from Vithora to the other islands in this archipelago are remote simply due to distance. So where Vithora is at the top of the map, your islands, which I had written down somewhere, but there are so many bloody names. Hang on, I've got them in a minute.
Well, they're a small chain of floating and sinking islands.
Yeah, so your home island of Rikh, that is kind of one of the islands to the north of your little cluster, but your little cluster is right at the bottom of the map. It's right at the south of the map. Right. So there is a vast distance between your homeland and Vithora. There is obviously links between it. Vithora is the capital. The Corvathian Empire governs your lands. But there is very much, again, back to where I was originally with it, it's that very segmented kind of islands manage themselves, but trade does happen, and your series of islands would be one which does trade upwards, and kind of the trade chains up towards Vithora. So you might find pearls from Rikh being sold in some of the higher end shops in Vithora.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any clarifying questions they want to ask at this point? I mean, anything, like chuck anything at me.
I think you covered it before, but I think there's just a singular currency.
Yes, yeah. So singular currency, your standard gold, silver, bronze.
No worries.
The Electrum.
So I'm not going to start going into more on that one because I know that it's complicated, so I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd imagine with most the way that most port cities and that work, there is a currency, but there's also a barter system in place as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. This is your standard, bartering, trading, exchanging of services, money. It all goes down here.
Mm-hmm.
Gold is gold.
Gold is gold.
Presumably, most of the bartering is located on Veltembar. I mean, it's got the largest population, and if it's a sort of mercantile and cosmopolitan type of place, I'm assuming that's where a lot of the trading hub would be.
Yes and no. So something you would be able to see from the ship is that although these three cities make Vithora, they are basically operating as cities in their own right as well. So simply for, like, let's say convenience sake, if you had Veltembar being the only city doing any merchant work, any trading work, people would have to travel all over the place to get to Veltembar to trade, and it wouldn't make, from a world building point of view, it wouldn't make any sense, because you then have to have people travelling to go and do business. It would then wait in one area. So when you would look out over the sides of the ship and you look at these places, you can see that they all have markets. They all have some form of port-side trading going on, but you would very, very easily say that Veltembar is the central hub of that. It is probably where you're going to find the most expensive goods, the most exotic goods, the rarest goods, and it is awash with colour like a bazaar. Reds, turquoises, blues, greens, oranges, draped stalls, incense. You can look out as you get closer and you could see, one entire stall selling piles and piles of spices, saffron, turmeric, like bright, bold colours. Veltembar is very, very clearly the kind of the prime area for trading, although other areas would not suffer for it.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Sorry, I just had
that.
to close my window because my neighbour's kids are screeching like banshees, and I'm going to go drown them in that paddling pool in a minute.
Awesome.
Good luck editing that out, Yaz.
Awesome.
I might leave it in for fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's just background noise for the city,
For the
isn't
city,
it?
yeah. Somewhere over there, some bloke is drowning his kids.
Yep.
My kind of town.
What happens in Drenmarrow stays in Drenmarrow. Okay. So what I will say at this point is, Silas, you would have probably spent the majority of your time, certainly in your professional career, when not at sea, on Drenmarrow. Otherwise, probably...
Because part of my background was that I was from a noble family in the high city, and that, so I'm probably from here originally, from these.
Yes. Absolutely. So yeah.
I'm probably from Cairnell originally, but I don't know.
I mean it's so this is a little bit of background writing while we're playing.
It's
entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Cairnell, although it looks very ceremonial, very administrative, very official, it isn't the only noble estate. You can clearly see, and you would clearly know, that there are noble families in every single one of these 3 islands, and they kind of have their own area that they kind of almost rule over, basically. A bit like noble families, they've got a monopoly over a certain area of the city, and they're spread out between the 3 islands.
I came from a very zealous family, so it kind of makes more sense for them to be from that kind of side of
Perfect.
things. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So, if there's no further questions...
Nope.
Nope.
I think we're good.
Okay. And obviously, jump in anytime you want to ask anything. Absolutely. So, as the wildflower skirts around this almost unseen perimeter around the spire, and this is... there's no markers, there's no buoys, there's nothing physical, but there is a very definite area, a mile perimeter around the spire, where there is no naval traffic at all. No boats, no barges, no skiffs, no rowboats, not even a rubber ducky, right? It's completely kept clear. And ships deliberately skirt around that to make their way from Cairnol to Veltembar. You can clearly see the kind of curve they follow, and the wildflower itself follows that curve, perhaps hugging it a little bit closer than most of the vessels do. As you approach Veltembar, you can smell spice, smoke and sea salt in the air. You see painted balconies and hanging lanterns. You can hear ferry bells echoing across the strait as a ferry clearly pushes off, going towards Drenmarrow. And it is loud and awash with colour and music and life. Bartering hawkers. It's so much noise and scent, it's almost an assault on the senses. The wildflower heading towards heading towards Veltembar now, doesn't head straight for the centre of the docks, of the piers. Instead, it makes a shallow arc towards the far right-hand side of the city, as if you were looking at it. And this is very, very clearly a more exclusive, more private section of the shoreline. As you approach, the buildings are more vibrant, more decorative. The area is quieter. The air is heavy with incense rather than spices and a general kind of hodgepodge of smells. It's very clearly almost like an engineered environment. It smells and feels very much like it's tailored and maintained perfectly. The wildfire approaches, a little bit battered, but still grandoise, and the first thing you would absolutely notice is that as the ship lines up and begins to dock, the ships surrounding you are similarly grandoise. They are obviously affluent, well decorated, big vessels. This is clearly a more affluent section of Veltembar itself. The ship docks, and you're able to kind of get your first proper good look at the city in front of you, and it is massive. What are you all doing as you are stood aboard the deck?
I think, certainly from Crest's point of view, he's probably still trying to avoid too much notice, but something like this isn't something that he would have ever seen.
No.
Certainly nothing he can remember. It's not even... He doesn't even have a real point of reference. He'd probably not realise initially that this is even a place where people just live all together. That number of people would be overwhelming. I think you'd find him pretty much straight at the prow of the ship, or as close to it as he can without having too many people crowding next to him, and just in complete awe that so many people can be in one place.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be saying a lot, but he would be mentally taking a lot of notes about how odd this all feels, as well as how awesome it is at the same time.
Excellent. Silas.
Actually, seeing Crest doing this, I'll kind of sort of saunter up behind and go, "Breathe it in, my friend, but be warned, this place will swallow you whole if you give it a chance."
It is your odour that I'm taking in the most. If you can just stand back a little, please.
Yes,
what about...
the smell of success would be foreign to you, I would imagine. I just
feels a little weak.
And actually, the smell of success is a very, very apt way to put it. Because as you look out in front of you, you can see people are everywhere, dressed in utter finery. You see people dressed in looser clothes, but they are clearly high quality clothing, clearly very noble clothing, despite their simple appearance. You see people dressed in silk drapery. It's this whole hodgepodge, and there is a vast array of races here. Dragonborn, gnome, human, elf, dwarven. You can see a vast array of nearly any race you could imagine in this area. All clearly very wealthy, very decked out in finery and jewels. You see some who look gaudier, perhaps, that, Silas, you might think, well, that's definitely new money, the way that they're dressed in gold, and, it's very, very, very much too hot for that amount of gold. And then you see people who are dressed more simply, and you think, they're probably more old money, they look like they know what they're doing here. Coffee, basically, I say coffee shops. They are effectively coffee shops. Not your usual standard inns and taverns where they serve like meals. These are shops dedicated to fine roasts and fine teas, freshly imported, where people are doing deals for what you can only imagine to be vast sums of money. This area is literally smells affluent.
Right. No, Greg's then.
You know what? If you want a fantasy Greg's, I can make you a fantasy Greg's. What is Ayaan-Jin doing? Since you're so keen to throw your name out there.
Would Ayaan-Jin have visited this island, or is this too far off his travels for him to have actually been to something of this size, to one of these islands?
I would say that it is too far for your travels. This is the first time you would have been at Vathora. However, you would know a bit of Vathora from your association. My page is glitched out, hang on. Up to the top.
Oh yes, with the
from
college.
your association with the College of Naturalism.
Yes, yeah, that would make sense. Yes, that makes sense. I think quite naturally he would also move to the furthest front prow of the ship to take in this view. I think he'd drink in the atmosphere from on board the ship before disembarking. Take in this affluence, take in the type of shops, the different races would interest him. He perhaps would not have met all of these different races. Some of them would be almost alien to him, I think, especially from where he comes from, a Triton stronghold.
Yeah.
And very few people, I won't say infiltrate, that's not the right word, but very few people are invited in.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And Torran.
Torran appears to be jotting stuff down in a journal as it comes into bed, as the ship is coming in, and then shortly before the ship arrives at its destination, he puts his journal away and pulls out 3 iron rings and proceeds to start putting them through piercings in his nose, cheek, and ear.
Okay. Excellent. So, you are all aboard the ship, all kind of crowded towards the front, just kind of taking in everything that is happening in front of you. And there is a lot to take in. The captain would approach you after a while, after the ship has been docked, ropes have been tied off, things are made good, and the general business aboard is mostly completed. The captain approaches you. Well, here we are. Welcome to Veltembar. What do you think, lads?
It's very big.
That's one word for it. Big is definitely a word I would use, yeah.
It's very smelly.
Is this a place that you are from? This is where you're from, Captain?
Well, not specifically Veltembar. I'm over from, where's my notes gone? From Drenmarrow. That's where I originate from, the next island over. That's where my family is. But I've spent my fair share of my time in Veltembar. The Athenaeum, scholarly district, where I had my education. It's a vibrant city, but she is dangerous as well.
Captain, who hired you?
Well, I am military man. I serve the crown and the military, as is my duty.
As he's asked that, I'm giving the captain a kind of a glance.
He ignores you.
I'll rephrase the question. Why were you sent to collect me and Tonic over here?
Not all questions have answers. I was given a duty to collect you. I have done my duty. My duty still remains. You have been afforded accommodation in the Coral Ward, which is this district in front of us. Very fine accommodation, where you will receive further communication about why you were summoned. I'm not privy to the details, I am merely doing my duty.
Torran's
You can
just...
make me an insight check.
Yeah, I don't trust this. Torran is not at all comfortable with this. He's not really happy. I rolled an 11 plus 0 for an 11.
Okay. With an 11, the captain as you have come to know him over your weeks of travel, is a dependable man. He is steadfast, you've seen his prowess in battle, you've seen the way he cares for his crew with utmost diligence. He is, by all means and measure, an upstanding military man. Good morals, good character. From this conversation, I don't think there's anything you could possibly glean with that lower role, apart from what you know of his character.
I'm just going to turn to Ayaan and say, I'm not happy with this. I'd like to at least know who bloody hiring me. Oh, God. Crest, you busy these days?
I think he'll just look around slightly panicked. No. I do not know what is planned for me.
Do you fancy a drink at the... Captain, where am I staying?
Captain turns to you. You'll be staying at a very fine establishment called the Ivory Current.
At the Ivory Current. Apparently it's pretty good there. I'm just going to find it back to...
I know a better place.
It's probably worth noting that you've likely seen Crest eat or drink very, very little. Like, almost nothing, in fact. He'll sip at things, might taste a little something, but doesn't seem to actually really eat or drink. And perhaps might not be too surprising, therefore, that when he suggests that maybe only a little. He's not that interested in drinking.
Fancy joining us anyway?
Yes, very much, yes.
You look like
Seems relieved that you're not going to force him to drink.
Silas, you joining us for a few bevies, my sir?
Oh, most definitely.
What about you, Tonic?
Well, according to you, I'd bring my own gin.
Hey, if that's your poison, that's how you play.
Well,
fair game. I'm not judging.
Well, I don't mind.
Oh, if you're looking for poison, I know a place for that too.
I'm a drinking man as much as the next person.
Cool. If I'm
He's
mysterious
still just surveying the scene. Okay. Staying fairly quiet and surveying the scene at the moment. Trying to work out what he would be doing here.
Well, I think first thing we do is go find some Crest and clothes that fit.
What is wrong with my attire? It is comfortable, it is warm. I need little else.
I think you might stand out.
It's not always about what you need, my friend. Drawing attention to yourself in this place is rarely a good thing.
This sounds like you're speaking from experience. Okay. Well, if there is more source...
Oh, you don't want to know, darling.
No, you were right, I do not. Yes, then whatever you think is necessary, I think. Thank you, Tom.
The captain, who is still stood there at this point, makes his kind of butts into your conversation. Silas,
So,
you are on duty. I don't mind if you have a little tipple, but don't get plastered because I'm not pulling you out of another gutter wearing someone's underwear. Okay?
Just behind the captain, there's Torran just going.
The Crest might just raise his eyebrow slightly.
Silas, you will be accompanying these three. He turns to you, Crest. Not sure what to do with you. You were never part of my original duties, however you've ended up entangled in whatever we were entangled in. So for now, I would kindly request, and he says it in such a way that it's definitely not a request, that you remain with Ayaan-Jin and Torran and Silas until decisions are made.
Where else would I go?
Well, you are technically a free man. You could go wherever you wish. However, if I have to make it a military order, I will.
I'm just quickly going to make a quick deception roll, which I really fail at, and as he's saying that, I'm like, ugh. I cannot hide my kind of slight wincing groan. Like, ugh.
Silas.
Well, it looks like your next stop is the Ivory Current, along with us then, my friend Crest.
Then, yes, then consider me at your, well, I would say at your disposal, but I just not dislike this idea. Yes, I will be with you.
Judging by the fact that it is fine accommodations, I think you may need to up your game with your clothing, as suggested.
I shall be guided by you.
Silas.
Then we shall guide you to the nearest shop.
Yes, sir.
You are to take these three, keep them entertained, keep them having fun.
Oh dear God.
I'm not I'm not so dour as to prohibit fun. Take them to the Ivory Current in the evening. Those are your prepaid accommodations. Should you wish to take alternative accommodations, you are more than welcome to. However, the Ivory Current is a very, very nice inn, and I would strongly recommend that you take the free handout because it is nice. Your meals will be paid for, your accommodation will be paid for the duration of your stay. Silas, when you get to the front desk, tell them that it is the passages of the Wildflower. They are expecting 3, not 4, but if they know what's good for them, they will make the room. He reaches into his pocket one big massive hand, and he drops into your hand, Silas, with a look that it might be against his better judgment, a sack of coins, a small sack of coins, inside which, when you open it up, you will find 400 gold pieces.
Ooh.
These are afforded to you for the purpose of our mission, which is to escort Ayaan-Jin and Torran, and now Crest, until things happen. So, to the three of you, you are free to wander the city, have fun, enjoy the sights, maybe do a bit of shopping, get yourself some proper clothes there, lad.
So people tell me.
And there will be some form of contact tomorrow to further inform you of what is expected and what is being asked. Should you wish, the ship will be here still for the duration of the evening. You may come back aboard, although with the city at your disposal, I don't see why you would want to. There is indeed a festival on tonight, the Tides of Last Light. So you may wish to join or participate or even witness that. It is quite a splendid sight and quite lucky to have arrived in time to see it. But for now, you are free to do what you wish within Vel Tembar.
Captain, I thank you for your passage and your candor. I will gratefully accept whatever has been offered for me, and I appreciate it. you say there is a festival. Could you just explain to me what this festival is?
It's a local festival, very popular. What you might expect, treats, tidbits, souvenirs, and at midnight people gather at the docks to release lanterns over the sea, saying farewell to those they've lost this past year.
That sounds very nice, and it is called something of the light, Festival of the Light?
Tides of the Last Light.
Tides of the Last Light. I've not heard of that. Okay, thank you. I would hate to not partake in local traditions while I'm here.
It only happens once a year, so you're very fortunate that you are here for it.
I think it is very fortunate that we are here at all.
Indeed. And he reaches out one big, massive hand to shake yours effectively, his kind of almost fur-covered leonine hand clasping yours.
Yeah, I'll take a good firm grip on that and look at him square in the face. And thank you again, Captain. I hope that we will see you again.
I'm sure our paths will cross in the future.
I shall look forward to it.
Likewise.
And Ian will sort of, he'll actually incline his head and then slightly bow and walk away, like back away. I think he would be quite reverential for him, towards him in that respect, offering respect, because he seems to command it and seems to be the kind of fellow that would deserve it.
Yeah. So he will proceed to say goodbye to you, Crest. Although he is still slightly mistrustful, he still offers his hand. Shakes
Crest
your
would
hand.
definitely take his hand and, again, quite respectfully thank him for his assistance and for allowing him to be on the ship. I'm phrasing it like that. But again, he's still unsure of his place in things, and again, there's a slight trust issue.
Yeah, he's not a dominant squeezer. It's a firm handshake, but a fair one. He's not trying to break your fingers, and he does still regard you with some suspicion, but seemingly kind of approves of you in a way. You've helped his crew take back the ship. You've helped them and yourselves escape. You don't seem to have any bad intentions in his eyes. You're just a bit of an unknown variable. He looks at Silas. Don't get pissed.
Captain, would I have... I just turned and walked
He scuffs
away.
you at the back of the head.
I think that was an order as well. Awful.
And then Torran, he comes to you. Possibly the one who's had the most conflict and pushback with the captain. Not necessarily in a bad way, though. He looks at you respectfully. He recognises that you are a man of the sea and you are experienced. And your decisions and your call in that scenario, or your actions, have contributed greatly. He offers his hand to you, shakes it warmly, if you take it.
I do.
And then proceeds to hand you a piece of paper from the inside of his jacket pocket. This might come in useful. You take it and you unfold it, and it is a map of Vel Tembar. So, give me 1 second and I will pop that in chat for you.
Thank you, yes.
Let me just grab that. There we go. I'm just going to pop that into this. Actually, I think I'm going to put it into the Duskbound text channel. And then I will briefly explain it, what you see.
What I will do is, when he takes my hand and he's finished talking, I will thank him for that, and then I will reply to him in Aquan, warmly. I will say to him, "And may the sea forever be with you." And then I'll give him a little nod as respect, and then have a look at what he's given me.
Yeah. He doesn't appear to fully understand Aquan, but he understands the sentiment behind it. Okay.
Yeah, I will give a brief nod at that. Courteous.
As you disembark the Wildflower, the vessel that you've called home for, some of you for 7 days, some of you for far longer, You step out onto the pier, and the atmosphere is... It is a lovely atmosphere, although you all feel slightly out of place because this is very clearly affluent. And there is an element of, Crest stood there in his, lack of clothes, and quite literally tonight. and there is that element where you look around and everything is very much kind of out of your league, let's say. But as you stand there, Torran, you unfold the piece of parchment, and it's a very neatly cut piece of parchment. It looks relatively expensive. Obviously someone would have paid decent money for what is revealed to be a map. A map specifically of Vel Tembar. So, I'll briefly explain the map. You should have it in chat, so if you could see it, that's brilliant. If not, no worries. The city itself is a broad U-shape. Quite wide along the coast and very, very deep actually. The entire city is encircled by a wall. Quite a thick and old looking wall, which is made of a beautiful white stone, similar to the stone in Caernol, and also the stone around the spire. Outside of the city you can see a couple of markings for arable land, for some not shanty housing but clearly non-affluent housing, clearly not poor people housing, but clearly people who cannot afford to live inside the city. And that is referred to as the Thornfield Outers. In the city proper itself, within the walls, you have the coast, and it's quite a wavy up and down shape coastline. To the bottom left, there is a large section which is in that kind of dark red on your map, entitled Emberhook. And as you look at the map, Torran, you can see that the captain has annotated a couple of these areas for you, so that you have a rough idea of what goes on. Emberhook has a note under it that reads shipyards, rope walks, smugglers, sailors' taverns, and it just seems to convey that general area of quite a rough area of the city.
Yep.
Going to the centre of the coastline, you have the Lantern Wake Quays, main maritime market area, and more of the general public facing ship area. The far right along the coastline, you have Coral Ward, which is where you currently are. Foreign sailors, inns, courtesans, gambling houses, those are all marked on the map. Moving into the centre of the city, you have this large central courtyard area, which is very open. Trees, it looks like a central gathering place, and that is labelled as the Saffron Court. There's a small note by it, it's just civil area. Between the Saffron Court and Emberhook and Lantern Wake Quays, you have an area called the Spice Wall, in that vibrant orange. Spice merchants, silk factories, warehouses, guarded compounds. Obviously a more exotic area of the city. In green...
Sorry, which area was that, sorry?
The Spice Wall.
Okay, thank you.
Next to the Spice Wall, behind the quays, and to the left of the Coral Ward, you have the Low Lanterns, which is a service quarter. And you can see on the map it is quite compact, quite crowded in. Workers, porters, generic support kind of function people. The biggest section of this city is in yellow, and that is kind of in the cup of the U, let's say. And that is labelled the Gilded Coil. Merchants, shrines, moneylenders, alleys. This appears to be the largest and perhaps one of the most crowded areas. And the final thing, you've got two things finally left on the map. You have a gate. Almost at the bottom of the U, so the furthest point inland, almost there is a marker for the Pearl Gate. It's to the north, so it's a northern gate, and it has customs written by it. And you can see there is a large road drawn leading away from the city.
No naughty cut movers allowed through there.
And then the final thing, between the Gilded Coil and the Coral Ward, so kind of behind the Coral Ward and fenced in by the Coral Ward, the Low Lanterns and the Gilded Coil against the city walls, you have the Athenaeum. Colleges, libraries, observatories, lecture courts. The map doesn't go into much detail on streets. You can clearly see this is a district view map. But it does give you a rough idea of what is generally in these areas and what goods and services might be available to you. Silas, you would know these places with some familiarity. Okay. Any questions on the map?
Just one from me. The Ivory Current, is that within the Coral Ward or the Lantern Keys maybe?
It is within the Coral Ward. So you wouldn't see it on the map. Silas would, however, know. The Ivory Current is not too far back from the docks. It's kind of like a third of the way back, let's say, and fairly central in the Coral Ward. So on your map, you'd probably say it's somewhere underneath the D.
Thank you.
There we go. Got a giggle.
Everybody looks up and then sees a giant D. Open your curtains in the morning.
I don't know what curtains you're opening.
I see that every morning anyway.
Yeah.
God.
Dear.
So the city, if you want to visit any areas, if you want to go anywhere, if you're looking for something specific, they will be within one of these areas. For the sake of simplicity and my own sanity, I am not going to be doing a full map of the city with full streets and everything. So what we'll do is if you want to go somewhere, it will mostly just be descriptive. Okay, I'm not going to tell you turn north and you turn right. I'm not going to be, Google Maps for the day.
Oh, I'm disappointed now. The level you'd clearly gone to.
You turn into the sea and fuck off.
Recalculating.
Come along.
Recalculating damage. Critical.
Come along, barnacle boy. Let's get you dressed. And just shake the little coin purse that I have. That's it. Go on.
No, Karen.
I was say I'm partly dreading what that actually entails.
I think actually Crest will just nudge Torran. It's like, is he compensating for something? He seems to be very, very difficult to work with.
He's harmless. He's a muppet, but he's harmless.
Muppet. I like this. This is a good word. And with that, he'll slowly stroll after him. He doesn't really want to give him any cause for them to have too much friction between them.
Excellent. Okay. So, what would you all like to do? You've effectively been given, we're going to say it's about 1 o'clock in the day right now. You've arrived early afternoon. So the day is still very much young. There's very much a lot of things happening, a lot of things going on. And really, it's all over, the ball's in your court now, guys. So whatever you would like to do, wherever you would like to go, it's up to you.
Well, I am.
I think Ayaan-Jin.
Yeah, I'm looking for a. I'm looking for a. We're all doing different. No, you guys go.
And now nobody's doing anything.
Someone
Shopping
please do
session.
something.
Only you're,
Take two,
you're shopping.
clap
Please, after you. No, after you. No, after you.
Torran,
I'm the one.
anybody got a
I'm the one that's been
clapperboard?
given the budget. So.
Torran is just basically just going to follow Silas's lead. He doesn't know the city. He is constantly, although one thing everybody does notice, he is constantly on the lookout over his shoulder all the time. But he's quite content to just stay near you lot for the time being.
You lot.
Okay.
I think Crest will take any and all suggestions about what he's supposed to wear, although he may disregard anything Silas says.
Fair enough. That is a valid opinion.
His isn't, no.
Iron is following at the back, but he's also aware that his attire, whilst natural for himself as a triton, doesn't necessarily lend itself to wandering around in a city like this. So he feels that perhaps some kind of good quality, lightweight, not a cloak, but like a very thin, silken, kind of full length overcoat, if you know what I mean. Maybe a short sleeve one would be ideal to go over his current attire to, just the buttons at the front makes him look a little bit more presentable in the city. He's also been quite reserved up to this point. Deliberately so. He's been travelling with everybody for about a week. Didn't know them really previously. So he's just been watching and hanging back and, interjecting where necessary. But he's feeling more outgoing now he's in amongst more civilization and not trapped in a small space with the few people that he's been thrown together with.
Sure. Okay. So, seeing as you're all kind of going to wander around and do things, I'm going to open it up now. This is a little bit of a shopping section, so if you wish to go and get anything, even if that is magical items, you have a little bit of gold to play with, I believe, between you all. You will be able to find almost anything in Veltembar. Some restrictions on certain things. You're not going to find, the end of the campaign here. But you will find, decent, very, very good quality items, clothing, armour. So at this point, I'm going to say let's give it 10 minutes round the table if there's anything you would like to go and buy. If you think of anything later, we'll just retcon that you went and bought it, okay? So, have at it, guys.
I don't have anything to buy, but I do have a suggestion for when the shopping is over.
Okay.
So to give you some time to think about it, Torran is going to suggest to Crest that we head to the Athenaeum to see if we can learn anything either about him or if we can learn anything about the artifacts he found on the island.
Okay.
And you will find that Iron is very, very interested and very keen to back Torran up and encourage everybody to travel to the Athenaeum as well.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to do that myself.
Yeah, Iron has his own agenda.
I wasn't going to do it out loud.
So
I was going to do it off my own back, but
Okay. So you can have a little bit of time to do some shopping now. Where would you like to shop? You've obviously got the Coral Ward, which is a more expensive area. You've got the Low Lanterns, the Lanternweight Keys. I mean, you can find shops for almost anything in any of these areas.
First things first, we'd be going to the tailors to get Crest a half decent set of clothing.
Okay.
Do you need any armour, Crest? Weapons? Got a nice singing voice. Do you want a little loot to go along with that singing voice, or are you solid?
He's sort of going to poke himself, taking it quite literally for just a moment. No, I seem mostly solid. A flute, maybe. I'm quite partial to... I am.
A flute?
Yes, that feels natural.
And a pair of drawers to stop that rogue barnacle.
I think your jokes, they fall flat a little.
Yeah.
I assume this is a joke. But what is it I am meant to wear here? Everyone seems to be wearing so many different things. You are all so quiet.
I'm also stood out quite sorely from the crowd. I'm dressed very much like. Oh well, it depends I suppose it depends what region we're in. Actually, if we're in like the maritime areas with the other shipyards, I probably look pretty standard.
Yeah, and that's very much a theme. Like, if you try and go shopping in the Coral Ward, you're only going to find high quality, expensive clothes. If you go shopping in the Low Lanterns, you're going to find lower quality, cheaper clothes. If you go to the Lanternweight Keys, you might find something which is more naval, more maritime. You know, Torran looks more fitting in there. So, you know, you kind of have the run of the city.
Crest will be happy going to the first place and then finding somewhere quieter. Honestly.
Fair enough. You walk in and it is loud as hell. Not loud in volume, loud in the amount of leopard print that there is there.
God, no. No. Just
You don't
no.
want a leopard print mankini? No?
Oh!
Do you want to see Crest in a mankini? Is this something we need to discuss about our DM here?
I don't want you to even mention a leopard print mankini, to be fair, when you're not wearing a shirt. I'm good, thanks.
We'll leave the nipple tassels out of the conversation then.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're listening on Spotify, please tap follow before you go. It only takes a moment and it means you'll always be the first to know when a new episode airs. You can also support Realm of Rolls on Patreon for behind the scenes content, or join our Discord to chat with us, share your theories, and keep up with campaign news. All the links are in the episode description. The next episode will be out on Tuesday the 25th of August. We hope to see you there. Until then, keep rolling.
Welcome to the Goblin's Notebook, an elite tabletop campaign planner and note-taking tool. The Goblin's Notebook offers a single-pane view of your tabletop RPG campaign notes for pre-session planning, in-session note-taking, and post-session recapping. Keep all of your tabletop RPG campaign notes in a single, easy-to-navigate place. Make connections between creatures, locations, or quests, enabling you to easily jump from object to object, keeping a precise journal during play, and offering the ability to share your notes or handouts with others. Whether you are a game master who wants to plan ahead, or a player taking notes during play, the Goblin's Notebook is the indispensable must-have tool. You can find the Goblin's Notebook at www.the-goblin.net.